I'm Rick Nelson, and on behalf of the AASHTO Committee on Maintenance, their Maintenance Operations Technical Working Group, and the Winter Weather Management Technical Service Program, formerly known as SICOP, SICOP Talks Winter Ops is proud to host this fourth National Winter Maintenance and Road Weather Briefing. Now, these briefings give organizations working in the severe weather and maintenance operations space an opportunity to showcase their efforts to help you achieve your winter maintenance and operations mission. Now, this briefing features the World Road Association's Winter Service Technical Committee, and with us is Dr. Peter Nutz, Head of Planning and Winter Maintenance for Vienna, Austria, and Chair of the Winter Service Technical Committee. Peter, it's good to see you.
Yeah, nice to see you, Rick. Thank you for the invitation.
Peter, before we get started with the briefing, tell us a little about yourself and your responsibilities there in Vienna and with the Technical Committee.
Yeah, so we've got a small team here planning all the winter maintenance routes in Vienna. It's around 300 vehicles we have to plan to go on every road, on every bikeway, everywhere. And it's more work than it maybe sounds, but it's pretty good. And I've been on the PIARC committee since, I think, 10 years or maybe a bit more. And since the last cycle, I'm chair of the committee. And it's great work. You got great travel sometimes. Last 3 years have been a bit missed out on travel. But we are back now, and it's really a great opportunity to exchange with other experts from all over the world.
Yeah, I enjoyed my time on the Winter Service Technical Committee, and we shared a cycle together, as I recall. And like you say, the exchange of information that happens, between the countries is just awesome.
Yes, it's a good opportunity.
Yeah. So Peter, tell us a little bit about what's going on with the Winter Service Technical Committee.
So let me start about PIARC as an organization in general. So it's the name of the World Road Association, and it's quite old. It's founded 1909. It's a non-profit and non-political association. So, and the main goal is, like we talked, is the exchange of knowledge of experts. So it's not only winter service; it's all of everything, all matters related to roads and road transport. So this is one of the first congresses they made in Paris in 1909, and you can see a lot of crowd there looking at all these brand new machines. So it's got some tradition, and the key missions are that they're leading forum for analysis and discussion. And a lot of we do is we collect the best practices and try to give this information to other experts. And PIARC is also very strong at for developing countries and countries in transition. So we're trying to help them build a good road network. And there are a lot of different tools for decision making. PIARC is developing, and it's working on a 4-year basis. So it's working in cycles, and every 4 years a new cycle starts. So it's got an extensive membership base. So PIARC addresses the needs of all countries, and there are 124 national governments are member organizations of the association. So the recent additions were Montenegro and Mozambique. So it really is a worldwide organization with members from a total of 140 countries. This could be national government. It could also be regional authorities. Like we have some cities that are that join PIARC, and it could also be collective members. Could be public or private. And we've got an individual members. So you as a person can also join. And there are more than 100 experts in the working groups of PIARC.
And so, Peter, I know when you talk about individual members, I think that's something that's kind of unique to PIARC, that an individual member can belong. And I know when I was there with our committee, we had several individual members, and they really added an interesting take on how to do winter service. And I'm thinking about Frank, for example. It as opposed to just government officials getting together and talking, it's the whole package.
Yes, it's a whole package. And when you mentioned Frank, he's a real expert in everything, and I think he can pull apart and put together again a whole winter maintenance machine without even waking up. So he's a real expert on this topic. And yes, it's quite good, and it's also not too expensive as an individual member to join. So they're quite good because they are really interested in the stuff they are doing there. Right. So that this working groups, and like the core of PIARC is this knowledge exchange we already talked about. So there are the roads and transport experts in these 20 groups. It's around 20 groups, and one of these groups is winter service. So this is an ad hoc dialogue. It's a huge network building, and the deliverables are reports. It could be seminars or workshops. It could be online manuals or even software and tools that PIARC has as products, if you say so. And the congresses are on really huge congresses, and it's 4 years is a huge congress. So what do they do and what does PIARC not do? The mission is to serve the needs of the members, and these are the member countries and experts. So a lot of things, best practice, recommendations, how are you developing funds, how do you implement things, rather than research. PIARC is not a research group. There are other organizations that are better. This PIARC is more related to really practitioners. And PIARC does not engage in standardization, and they do not express opinions on or analysis on national or regional issues. This is seen as a task of the member countries or the regional road organizations. So it's really these experts talking together what they are doing out there and what they're trying and what they had good experiences and where the experience was not so good. So the outputs for the cycle 2016 to 2019, there was 46 new reports. A report is around, could be 100 pages, could be even 200. So it's really a big document. There's an online road dictionary. Its main languages, English, French, and Spanish, and there are 32 other languages, which is quite impressive. If you can look through other languages, what the exact definition of one word is. It's roads, it's a magazine, there are online manuals, it's a software they have. These are international seminars. Seminars attend to 200 people maybe. And there is the International World Road Congress, the Winter Congress, and the Road Congress. And there's also the website piarc.org, which is, you need to register, but it's free for you to register. So you just need to type in your email address and some passwords. So going back to RTC, the Technical Committee 3.2 Winter Service. This is us in January 2020. You know, when you have to get this first news from this kind of new flu that developed in China, but no problem at all. Let's meet up all together. And on the way back home, you can see the first guys with masks on the airport. So it's when it all started. So I'm chair. We have each committee has got a chair and 3 secretaries, 1 for each language. So there are 3 languages in PIARC. It's English, it's French, and it's Spanish. And for these 3 languages, there's always a secretary there, and there's a technical advisor, which is the connection to the General Secretariat in Paris for PIARC. So he's the one to ask if you have something to ask for your TC, how the secretary is going to the General Secretariat is going in a way, or how many sessions you have to chair and so on. Mm-hmm. So let's talk about some products we developed during the past cycle. So there's one report about intra and inter-agency integration of winter maintenance management. It's been case studies. Steve Lance is the chair for this report. You know him very well. He, in the meantime, he retired and hopefully enjoys the winter a bit more than when you're active in winter service. It's a full report, and it was really interesting. We had also case studies from crossing the border from Argentina to Chile, going over the Andes. It's really high altitudes. It's about 55 pages, and it's 10 case studies. So this is a good overview. Another report from that time was the de-icing salt and brine treatments, interventions and best practices. Horst Hanke was the chair from Germany. It's a full report, and this was a really, really interesting report because he looked also in how the amount, the dosage of salt, and do you use preventive spreading and do you use brine? And this was really interesting, and I want to pick out some of the content of this report. So when we compared spreading methods during snowfall, we said, okay, 3 countries don't even spread during snowfall because they seem to say it's not necessary. The others use either pre-wetted salt, only pre-wetted salt, or combined with dry salt, and for only use dry salt. So you can see there are a lot of different approaches to winter service. And also 9 countries also used grit in some cases. So it's not only salt, but it's grit also sometimes. And the most interesting thing was, I think, the spreading dosage. It was really interesting for us to see how much salt do you use for which weather phenomenon. And one could see that it was really close together for most of the weather phenomena, like hoarfrost, freezing moisture on the road, freezing rain. They were really close. Where the difference gets great is spreading during snowfall. So this was one of the biggest difference. And you can see the absolute lowest recommendation. It's all in gram per square meter. So we needed to recalculate something. We get from the United States or other countries using not the metric system. But it was really great to see where the other countries are going to, and not necessarily the countries with the lower temperatures that use more salt. That's not always the case. So that was very interesting finding. And so the range between them is very close. You can see for most of the part it's between 10 and 20 grams or 30 grams. So it was really close. Also preventive spreading, a technique we developed we used in Vienna since I think 10 years or so. It started spreading. So preventive spreading is spreading before the snowfall, before the freezing rain, to keep a layer of brine on the road and prepare for better plowing afterwards. And it's always based on road weather information. Of course, you have to rely on the forecast. And it's very different in preparation time. It could be up to 8 hours before the forecasted snowfall event, down to 1 or 2 hours. So this is the room for the preparation or before the preventive spreading before the snowfall is forecasted. So it was really used before hoarfrost or black ice, and in 9 cases also before snowfall. And 8 countries used pre-wetted salt and 7 only brine. And 4 countries use both. They use both pre-wetted salt and brine, and 1 only dry salt. So you can see the brine is going for really well with prevented spreading.
Right.
But
Hey,
the spreading
Peter.
also, yeah.
Peter, with the pre-wetted salt, did they discuss at all how much liquids they're putting with the solids to pre-wet it? Did they talk about a percentage rate for liquids versus
Yes.
solids?
We started with 30% brine and 70% salt. This was the starting point for most of us. And maybe some started with less brine, but 30-70 was our starting point. And we then looked up 50-50, and then up to 70% brine and 30% salt. But what you could see is that the amount of salt on the road, if you use 30-70, so 30% brine and then 50% brine, the amount on the soft salt on the road is almost the same. So we are tending to go for 50-50 mixture. And and then if we don't use brine, pre-wetted salt, we're going for brine only. And this brine only thing, this is really going on. So you just use the liquid brine. But it's really a coming thing. So 4 countries, so you see the majority of the countries, 21 say, yes, we do preventive spreading, and only 4 say, no, we don't use preventive spreading. So this has come really quick, this preventive spreading to spread worldwide as a common method to keep the snow good to plow. The dosage is very different. It's from 5 to 40 grams per square meter, which is about the range a typical machine can do. So there's a lot of range in between that. And the experience in all countries, really, without exception, is very positive. So that's a really good method. And it's always good to see that others are doing it as well, and it works. It really works. So this is something we discovered there. Now based with numbers and the questionnaire, not only just talking to each other. That was really interesting finding. So then we asked for the use of brine, and you can see more than half of the countries said yes, we do use brine, and one was still in test, and 9 said no, we don't use brine. Most countries use sodium chloride as a brine. It's basic brine. Others also use calcium chloride or magnesium chloride, but it's sometimes only in cases where it's very cold. And the temperature limit is really interesting. It goes from minus 4 degrees Celsius to minus 12. So this is a huge range of the usage of brine spreading. So it's those with minus 12 degrees limit, they are more brave than the other ones with minus 4. And you can see a lot of it is possible. What we found out that the better the more snow you get from the road with a plow, or maybe even with a brush or whatever, the lower you can go with the brine spreading with the temperature.
Right.
So this was also one very interesting finding. So it's really important to have a good plow when you go for brine spreading. And again, same as for preventive spreading, without exception, very positive, especially in preventive spreading, where it's normally used. So this is really a good thing to have, this brine spreading. And thing is, you need to check your limits. How often does the temperature go below your limit, and what are you doing if it's below your limit? Mm-hmm. But the use of brine has increased sharply in the recent years, and this will be increasing in the coming years as well, I think. So what you could do when you go below the temperature limit is you can use pre-wetted salt again. So this is the thing also we are doing. We're going to minus 6 degrees with brine, and below that we say, okay, let's just do pre-wetted salt again. Another project is the Snow and Ice Data Book. Martin Thompson was the leader there. The Snow and Ice Data Book collects information about the countries, and it's always the same structure. So it's weather, it's road network, and then it's winter service guidelines and practices. And so it's really interesting if you want to compare countries or even parts of countries. So the contributing countries is, you can see mostly some of them, Europe and North America, and South Korea is in there. And you can see two examples, like in the middle it's a part of the Austrian pages. You can see our guidelines, the spreaders we use, and so on. For the United States part, I picked the one page with the SICOP Talks Winter Ops logo, Rick, which I think you would appreciate.
There was no collaboration with respect to you selecting that particular page, Peter, but thanks for the shout out.
Absolutely nothing. So this is really great if you want to see what's going on in other countries. And with this structure, you can also compare, is the weather more or less the same, or do they have way more winter or lower winters? So this is really a great thing to look around the world, and see what the other guys doing. The report we recently finished is about winter in cities. Didier Chilope was the team leader of this report, and it's a collection of case studies and also a questionnaire. And PIARC traditionally was very strong at winter maintenance on highways, but we then opened that up for the cities as well, and the feedback was really great. We had as our own topic for winter service in cities for the last 2 congresses, and we got a lot of papers there and a lot of presentations with really interesting and really or different things than compared to winter maintenance on highways. As you can see, it's just a tram with a brush outside there. I think it's somewhere in Japan, and this was really interesting to see also what the other cities are doing, because the difference there, it's much higher than for highways. The problems are different. You can see how to get the snow out of the city. You need to use really small vehicles sometimes because you can't get through anywhere. And then what are you doing with the snow? It's like you got a big river, you got the Danube, you can throw it in there to the Danube. But that's really a problem if you've got nowhere to put the snow.
Right.
And of course, you need to think about the public transport. Buses, trams, they are all affected by snow. And there has to be a correlation between, the winter service for the road and the winter service for the public transport and the trams. It's very good to speak to the different guys there. So this is really good report, and it also shows really, again, what are the others doing? Is there anything I can take from them, and there is a good practice, or sometimes also which that didn't work. So this is really good to look over. So the Congress's PIARC is doing its. The last one was 2022, the International Winter Congress in Calgary, which happened to be my office because it was virtual only, and I've never seen a congress with such a good fitting motto, adapting to a changing world. I think this was really, really true in that case. But even so, it was a really good congress. They did a really good organization with a lot of papers, and you can still find the proceedings online, and you can go through it. It's really, really a lot of interesting papers. I think over 200. And for the first time, it was combined. This Winter Congress was combined with a second topic, and it was road resilience. So we put up for a second topic as well. The next World Road Congress will be this October in Prague in Czech Republic. And it's quite close right now, but it's a good opportunity for PIARC to promote the output and to collect new input also, and also to develop the road sector's visibility and to engage with the community. There will be also an exhibition, there will be technical visits, so it's really a good place for all people connected to roads to meet up and get there and exchange experience. So it will be, they've got already 750 abstracts, 4,000 delegates. So it will be a huge congress over there. And we've also got national pavilions. So it will be a nice week in Prague with very interesting presentations, hopefully, and technical visits. And also, as the Czech Republic is known for one of the best beers in the world, you might get one after your presentation. So it's a really good thing. Okay. And for the next Winter Congress, this will be held in Chambéry in France in 2026. Winter service, again, will be the main topic, but there will be also, again, a complementary topic, maybe resilience again. I'm not sure yet what it will be. And there will also be a snowplow championship. It was really good idea. They started it, I think 2006, I think they started it in Canada with the Snowplow World Championship.
In Quebec City was the first one.
Yeah, they were the first one to organize it, and it's grown. We started a European Snowplow Championship as well. So we go for the alternative. So it's 4 years. All 4 years is the World Championship, and European Championship also all 4 years. So we are complementing this this championship. It's gonna a huge event, and I'm really looking forward for this Congress also. And you still have a lot of time to write, to write a paper, or you can still start a project and talk about it in Jamboree, since you've got almost 3 years until it's happening. Right. So thank you.
Peter, thanks so much for the briefing. It was really interesting getting a recap on some of those reports. It's a great work, and when you're trying to develop a program or you want to make some improvements, it's always good to look and see what others are doing. So there's no need to reinvent things that people have already got a handle on.
Yeah, that's true. And the good thing is that these reports, they're really good structured. They're all for free to download as a PDF. So it's really good source of information.
Yeah. So Peter's contact information and all of these links to the various reports and the PIARC website are going to be listed below this video in the notes and also in the show notes. So you can go and peruse that and see what they've been up to, and you can reach out directly to Peter if you've got questions about any of that. He can get you hooked up with the various authors and so on. Peter, thanks so much for being here and giving us a briefing. I really appreciate us making the connection over the various time zones that we've had to deal with.
Yeah. Thank you, Rick, very much. It was really good talking to you again.
You too, Peter. Until next time, thanks for tuning in and stay safe out there.